It's Divas That Care Radio. Stories, strategies, and ideas to inspire positive change. Welcome to Divas That Care, a network of women committed to making our world a better place for everyone. This is a global movement for women, by women, engaged in a collaborative effort to create a better world for future generations. To find out more about the movement, visit divasthatcare.com after the show. Right now, though, stay tuned for another jolt of inspiration.
Well, hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Divas That Care. My name is Candace Gish. Well, everyone, we have an exciting show for you today. We're going to be welcoming back a past guest, an amazing woman that has been on multiple programs here on the Divas That Care, and we're so excited to have her back because she's always got so many amazing tips and tools, advice. She's inspiring, and we always love having her back on. So I'm really excited to be welcoming back Jacqueline Biollo. And if you haven't had a chance to check her out, she's got so many great things out there. And I'm going to be posting some more on her other shows on our social media, so you can definitely go and check those out. If this is your very first time tuning into the Divas That Care, a huge welcome. We are now on our 12th year. My goodness, it's been so long. We're listened to in over 30 countries around the world. And honestly, it's because of all of you amazing people out there. Honestly, we are so grateful to each and every one of you that support our guests, that support our hosts, and the movement that we are trying to do out there is, basically to make the world a better place. So thank you all so very much. Today, as I said, my amazing guest is Jacqueline. Welcome back to the Divas That Care.
Oh, my goodness. Well, thank you so much for the invite. It's always a pleasure to have a platform to talk about some interesting things. And congratulations. I know that you were certainly talking about how long you've been on the air and bringing some positive messages to your network. So I'm just thrilled to be a part of it today.
Oh, well, thank you so much. And I know that you, like I, am enjoying this amazing, beautiful weather here in Canada. We live in Alberta, both of us. And to be able to see this amazing blue sky, these amazing, I don't know where you're at, Jacqueline, but, I'm looking at the colors, and I'm just so inspired, and I feel so energized. And it's something about the fall that really energizes me to, just to be so happy, and to inspire and to find so many inspiring things to keep me going, especially because our winters are so long up here. It's great to enjoy the weather while it lasts.
No, absolutely. And so I come to you from Treaty 6 territory right now. I wear a variety of different hats, which, might sort of weave their way into our conversation. But I am sitting on the campus of one of the universities that I have the honor of being a professor at. And it gives me the opportunity to use those experiences, whether it is just the glorious change of seasons and how that impacts people's, point of influence, their motivation, their mental health.
Well, Jacqueline, if you don't mind, if you could just spend a couple of minutes introducing yourself to perhaps some of our new listeners.
Absolutely. So as introduced, I am Jacqueline Biollo, and I wear a variety of different hats, including I am a government relations, public relations consultant. I have my own business and company. I am a university educator, so I have the opportunity to talk about consulting, human resources, and communications to a wide audience. And then a bit unique, but I am an actress and a full-figured model, and recently have returned from walking the New York Fashion Week runways.
That is so exciting. How many people have been able to do that? Oh, my goodness. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Well, and the greatest thing is that to be able to travel again and to be able to do stuff like that, that's so cool.
Yeah, I agree. Actually, one of those things is that we will be talking in one of my university courses about training and development or readiness strategies. And one of the things that I'm going to highlight is the uniqueness and opportunity that travel does present us with. But, lots goes into that. And recently, we all know that countries are pivoting back to maybe pre-pandemic conditions, or there is a new normal. And, part of that really makes people think about what their plans and aspirations for the future are and how they're going to realize or achieve that.
Isn't that so exciting? Well, I can't wait, and I would definitely want to have you on a program in the future and talking more about that.
Well, I'm always open to talk about something, and I know today you wanted to talk more about mothers and daughters, so I will open the so let's talk.
Well, one of the greatest things is that the Divas That Care, which we're really excited, we have a Mothers and Daughters anthology that is going to be coming out, and you are one of the amazing contributors to that book. And I want to talk to you a little about the importance of mothers and daughters, the relationships. Let's talk about the inspiration, the learning, the lessons, everything that we can on, why is it important to have those type of relationships in our lives?
Yeah, so to put it into context, I am in the sandwich generation, so I do have a mother who is still surviving, and I'm very, very lucky to have a positive relationship with her. And then I am the mother of a young adult. And I think that the uniqueness that has presented itself is not only technology or culture, aspirations, and you sort of put that all together, and how you're communicating or building a relationship with those different generations is very impactful on all regards.
One of the things I find is quite fascinating about you, because you do have such a diverse background and the things that you did. Have the people in your life really inspired you to do all this?
Well, and maybe my mother has been the most, she's been the best cheerleader. Certainly her life experiences were different than mine. Her education path was different. So a lot of my job opportunities or my educational motivation has come perhaps from my dad or from my dad's side. But my mom, what I've learned from her is really that heart component and being present in the moment and supporting and encouraging other people in their endeavors. So, I very much appreciate where she's been and what she was able to give me when I was growing up, and then quickly, pivoting to either what my daughter has given me and or what I hope to have given my daughter has been obviously learned and experienced through my own life cycle with my mom and people that have sort of paved the path before me.
I love it. So inspiring. And to be able to, even with yourself, inspire your daughter with the things that you're doing. You have such an entrepreneurial spirit. You're always doing so many things. You're helping so many people out. You're motivating so many people in so many ways. There's not too many people that I've had the opportunity to, kind of get to know here and then watch and follow over the years, and to see all the stuff that you do. Quite awe-inspiring, to be honest, because it's very diverse in a lot of the stuff that you're doing.
Well, thank you, and I'm blushing. I wish you could absolutely see that, because, there is elements of an individual's life where it's just me, right? This is just who I am. But I do want to say for a moment, not only is it my daughter that I very much want to inspire and influence to be her own person, I do talk about authenticity a lot. And, one of the things that I am most proud of is that I have been able to positively influence or motivate other people. I mean, I don't shy away now from saying that I'm 51 years old. I am, by example, a successful entrepreneur. I've had a unique sort of resume with both being an actress and I'm a former politician. But more so, it's kind of that I live life for in the moment, the here and now. If an opportunity presents itself, I really want to see if I can, grab it and realize it in the moment. And hopefully live life not only with no regrets, but from learning from every opportunity.
Isn't that exciting? And I always wonder if it's because when we get older, we start realizing that about ourselves. We're always, and when we're younger, it's so different. And I don't know if it's more wisdom as I'm getting older, but I'm definitely seeing things differently. And my eyes are more open than even when I was younger. And I see that when I look at my daughters and the choices that they're making, the lives that they're making for themselves. And I think, oh my goodness, look what I've been a part of, but then look at all the stuff that I'm still going to do myself and all the people surrounding me and how I'm going to inspire, hopefully, them too.
Yeah, I agree. I think that, you know, the greatest lesson that I either have learned myself or that I continue to try and impart to others in my network is really you do have to know your audience. So you have to know yourself first. So live your life with authenticity. That's, you know, very important. But the other is when you're out and if your sort of purpose or opportunity in life is to influence or motivate others, is know what their comfort level is, what their risk tolerance is, what their goals and objectives are. And then hopefully you can build your experience to share with them so that it's relevant. You know, there comes a point, I think, that, no, it's not all about me. I mean, it's great. Yay, I've lived a successful life and people look at me. But perhaps what my legacy is, or I hope will be, is that someone can say, you know what, I took a chance or I did this because other people believed in me or they paved the path. And I hope that that continues for eternity.
So is that kind of the lesson or the thing that you want to leave for your daughter then, is sharing those experiences that you've had and kind of inspiring her to do the same thing?
Yes, because she isn't me and I'm not her. And so even through, you know, at a young age, you try and expose your children to all a variety of different opportunities, whether it's sports, arts and culture, whether it's education, it could be even religion and language, food, travel, all of these things. But at the end of the day, as she comes into her own and starts to make decisions and realize and rationalize, I want her to at least have the foundation that she can say, well, I know how to think through a problem, or I know you know, that there's morals and values that I need to tap into. And I think that as well, if we know that we have a support system around us, so if she was to stumble and fall or wants advice or, you know, needs somebody to sort of go along with her, hold her hand or open the door or whatever all of those, you know, taglines are, that is important for me. I think that, again, everybody needs to be their authentic self, but if they need a little bit of inspiration or motivation, that they do have people in their network that they can turn to make that happen.
And that's awesome. And I think a lot of people feel the same way. You know, as our children get older, we kind of wonder if we've done the right things, if we've done what you said, expose them to so many opportunities that they can make their own decisions, the decisions best for themselves. And I think that's what you're doing. And I think just showing that and talking about that will really inspire other mothers out there to say, okay, maybe, you know, I feel like I'm alone, but maybe I'm not. You know, maybe that's what everybody goes through. They're always confused and not too sure what's going on. But in the end, you know, we hope for the best. We do what we can do. And I think our children see that. They see that we're human and we all make mistakes, but we learn and we're there for them if they ever need us.
That's right. Yeah. One of the things that I talk about are my superpowers, and, you know, maybe even your listeners now can start to consider, well, what are their superpowers? Because it's true. Maybe not everybody is, well, maybe let's just start. Maybe you're not even a mother. And if that's a choice that you've made in your life, well, then know that you can still positively influence and motivate others. Yes. Or, you know, maybe you don't have a certain career path or whatever. I mean, it doesn't make you any less of a person by any means. Certainly what the whole importance of relationships is that you find what you're capable of. And so I use the terminology superpowers. And mine has always been optimism. So I'm a positive thinking, forward-thinking person, and there's a bit of strategy involved in it too. So yes, I talk about people. You know, if you stumble and fall, that's fine. But what have you learned from that situation, or what can you sort of take from it and enhance the next time you go to do something similar. So maybe your listeners can start to think about what contributions they have currently, what superpowers do they have, and indirectly, what might be the legacy that they want to leave behind, and how can they influence and motivate others in their network?
That is really great advice. And I want to ask you, too, so when a person is listening to today's program and they're like, well, I'm not too sure what my superpowers are, how can you just kind of give them a little bit of a tip kind of directing them? How would they find what their superpower is?
Yeah. Well, you could either ask somebody, right? Because believe it or not, whether we're most critical of ourselves, so you don't see the gifts that you offer. And part of the whole superpower is that it's easy to give. It's something that comes natural to you. Maybe it's something that you have a passion or an ability that either, sure, lots have, but they haven't identified it. Because in my world, sure, everybody can have optimism and you can be a positive person, but some people aren't, right? That's not sort of their easy go-to persona. So I think that if your listeners are out there saying, well, I wonder what my superpower is, maybe it is that you are educated and you're a subject matter expert and you can contribute that learning somehow to somebody else without being the know-it-all. Or maybe, you just love being in the kitchen and baking, and so perhaps maybe your superpower is that, you can offer this gift off to people. Or maybe it's patience. Maybe you just have more patience, which is definitely, I think, a superpower. I don't know.
Yeah.
I think that it's anything that again, it needs to be natural. It needs to be something that comes naturally, is part of your authentic self. And if you're really struggling, I bet you that your listeners have a friend or their network that could instantly tell them what theirs is. Like, for example, even yours. Yours would be even just, and I'm just making an assumption here, but yours is the ability to bring people together. I mean, look, you're the host of a podcast, and you bring conversations, and you provide thoughtful discussions for people that will carry them into their day. So that's an example of what your superpower might be.
I love that. That is so cool. And it is. I love being able to have the opportunity to chat with people and definitely facilitate the introductions and the ability for people to share their stories. So it could definitely be mine. I love it. Jacqueline, I just want to ask you too, because, you are quite an inspiring woman, but of all the things that you are doing out there, what are you going to be doing next? Do you have something that you can share with our listeners? So,
the one thing that I will say, maybe I talk about it because I'm trying to keep myself accountable, but I certainly write a lot. I have a regular magazine column that I pen, but I've never written a book. Like, I've never been successful enough to sit down and write pages upon pages of pages. And I think it's either because, you're right, I have so many amazing experiences in my life that, how do you either pick one thing to sort of focus on, or maybe that's just not my purpose in life. So what am I doing next? Well, I wish I could say that I was writing a book, but I'm not. I think that I'm just going to continue to live life to the fullest. I'm sort of on the next stage of, my goals and aspirations, and I want to see what the world needs from me and how I can contribute to the best of my ability.
Oh my gosh, girl, I know you're going to do that. And you've got so much more to offer the world. And I just can't wait to help you make some more connections with you. And I have so many ideas running through my head right now that I'll definitely be sharing with you after the program. But thank you so much. This has been so much fun. I know that you said you don't have a website, but if our listeners are wanting to get a hold of you, how can they do that?
Yeah, absolutely. I would say that, just because of the person that I am, LinkedIn is very professional, and you can see all of my qualifications, or from a business perspective, what I'm involved in. So just my name, Jacqueline Biollo, on LinkedIn. But the other thing, having been in the public's eye as a politician, now as a university educator, I'm an actress. So honestly, if you just want to creep me on Facebook, that's okay too. And, that gives you a perspective of who is this woman that seems to have a joie de vivre, that really just lives life to the fullest and hopes that you'll join her along the ride.
Oh, my goodness, and what a ride it sounds like. Oh, my goodness. Okay, so last question that I have for you, my friend. Do you have any tips or tools, anything that our listeners could perhaps use today?
Yes, absolutely. I think that, for me, living life to the fullest means being open to saying yes and exploring where your risks and fears have prevented you from going. And even if it's just dipping your toe in the water instead of, taking that full deep dive, then that's what you should be doing. Experience life. It's there to live.
I think that is absolutely perfect advice. I think the last couple of years have, isolated a lot of individuals. Maybe even for myself, I've realized that, I have to live my life to the fullest each and every day. And it's a model that it's funny, over in high school, we always have those little things that you say about yourself. And that was my motto, is just to live life to the fullest. And I've done that my whole life. And I love hearing when other people say the same thing. So thank you so much for sharing that with us today. Thank you again for being my amazing guest. I always love chatting with you. I love being inspired by you. I have a huge smile on my face. So I'm thinking, oh my goodness, this girl, she shares so much. And I love following you because it is inspiring, because you're very authentic. And that's something that I would definitely like to talk about on a future program, is because sharing that, and because a lot of people might not understand what it means anymore. It seems to be a topic that people talk about, but maybe not explained to the extent that it should be. So again, thank you so much for being my guest, and we'll definitely have you back on again soon.
It was an absolute pleasure, and thank you so much. I totally agree that, one thing that would be a regret, so maybe I should say that, is that you and I have not had the pleasure of meeting and sharing that giggle conversation over a cup of coffee or something, and so let's make that happen as well, because now that we're out of the pandemic, or now that we have the opportunity to build relationships, there is so much value in connections, and I do look forward to not only doing that with you, but and any of your listeners. I mean, heck, I can always do with more friends in my life. So here's an open invitation to be my friend.
I love it. That's what we need more of. Well, thank you so much. It was just such a pleasure. And I want to say a huge shout out to all of our listeners. Isn't this a great call? We had so much fun. And this is what we need to do. We need to get out there more. We need to inspire people. We need to communicate. We need to get back face to face and just live our lives to the fullest each and every day. Surround yourself with amazing people, guys. That's what it's really important to do that. I hope that each and every one of you has a fantastic day. Make sure to check out all the other hosts and guests on the Divas That Care network. And I will be posting all of this special program on all of our social media. So make sure you share it with all your friends and family. All right, guys, until next time, please do something kind.
Thanks for listening. This show was brought to you by Divas That Care. Connect with us on Facebook, on Instagram, and of course on divasthatcare.com, where you can subscribe to our newsletter so you don't miss a thing.